So if you're listening and you're like, I want to abide in Jesus, how do I get there? I think you need to have an active list of what stirs your affections for Jesus and what robs you of your affections for Jesus. Stop thinking through the grid of right and wrong or what you have freedom or don't have freedom to do. I just don't think that's going to get you there.
Howdy, friends, and welcome to the Storyfield. This is a podcast where we talk about business, faith, and life in general.
Okay, so here's the deal. We want you to be encouraged. We want you living in hope. This life we live is complex. It's hard at times. At the Storyfield, you will find great stories of normal people just like us who will inspire you. Our goal is that you leave encouraged, inspired, and excited to move forward in life. But before we get started, one thing though, if you're listening and you find yourself really hopeless right now, send us an email at hope@thestoryfield.com so we can pray for you. Thanks for joining us today. Let's get started. So, hey, Storyfield, I'm here behind the stage of the Village Church with Pastor Matt Chandler.
It's stunning back here.
Oh, it's great.
Like, it's funny. I don't know how this is going to look on camera.
Oh, no.
It's basically like
Probably gonna
a large closet.
Yeah, he's gonna.
It's going to look like, a bit like, man, they're so bougie
Right.
there at the
You
Village.
should like pose around. He does have a massive library over here. Okay, man, I'm gonna date myself and probably you. So I went fishing with a buddy recently, and I told him I'm gonna get to interview Matt, and he goes, "I have 2 CDs from Matt Chandler that you gave me."
Oh.
So I couldn't get him here, but so do you remember?
Pursuit of Pleasure series, yeah.
So where were you?
So we filmed where these were recorded at, they were out of Psalm 16:11
Okay.
at Grace Bible Study in
Yeah.
Abilene, Texas.
Okay.
So I did a
I was trying to. That was
semester-long series on that passage where David's like, you have made known to me the path of life. You filled me with joy in your presence, with eternal pleasures at your right hand. And so then what I did from there is took like the things that contextually were the college kid's world, and I started trying to go, what are the pleasures that God has created for us from his right hand, from his lead? What does it look like for us to walk in obedience in these things so that we both receive the pleasure of God leading to our joy and a life of flourishing? So that was the series.
So that's how long I've been listening to you. I was handing out your CDs.
Since
a
we
while
were
ago.
CDs.
So yeah.
Yes, that's it.
I wanted a copy of it, but dang, I forgot it. I was going to give you one.
Yeah.
Man, I wrestled a little bit with what I wanted to. What did I want to pick your brain about?
Sure.
And in praying about it, I think I heard the Lord say, I just want to hear. We're the Storyfield. I just want to first hear your story. There's 1,000 topics we could get into, but I just want to hear. And the Lord says, like the slow, unhurried version of the story. Like,
Yeah.
So, and we like to kind of track it from childhood.
Okay.
Because, from what I understand, listen to you long enough. You weren't born at the altar,
No.
so
That's
I want to start me there, and then let's get to here, and we'll take some detours along the way. So let's hear your story.
Well, I grew up, I've always said, I think I probably still believe this, a really strange home in that mom was like Southern Baptist fundamentalist, like no rated R movies, no secular music.
Independent.
No, probably not as crazy as, well, let me backtrack on that. Probably not as tight as the independent Baptist, but certainly fundamentalist Baptist. But not, when I'm saying fundamentalist, I'm not saying like fundamental doctrines.
Yeah.
I'm saying more legal than Jesus.
Yes.
And tighter than Jesus. Didn't think the Pharisees were serious enough about the law kind of folk.
Wow.
And, but then my dad was this like explosive, kind of given to violence, like, I don't know how to explain my dad. We've reconciled and I love him. He's local. I still try to see him as often as I can. But man, it was this super weird home where you weren't really allowed to watch rated R movies or listen to secular music because of Jesus, but then dad might snap and beat the hell out of one of you.
Mm.
And that was hard to reconcile in my little brain. And, you know, like it was so bad that at times we would, each of us, there's three, I've got two sisters, we'd ask mom, like, why we wouldn't leave.
Were you the oldest?
Mom, I'm middle.
Okay.
I'm middle. And mom would kind of blame Jesus on why we weren't leaving.
Oh, wow.
You know? So then that kind of makes you go, well, no, what's up with Jesus? You know? And so that's, you know, dad was a Navy guy, and what made dad could be a lot of fun, man. And he could be sweet and loving, and until he wasn't. And that wasn't tied to anything we could see. And so that was just super disorienting. And what made me in some ways is I think about the time I turned 9, I figured out I can control my environment with my personality, with my sense of humor, by getting things done, by staying out of the way, by I can control my environment. And I could. And I was like naturally gifted at it.
Yeah.
I could be funny at the right time. I've got a really big plate. I can get things done. I can win.
It's performance from the beginning.
From by the time I'm 9, I'm like, I can control this.
Wow.
And did and was. I mean, I was a popular kid, and I was, you know, I wasn't a great athlete, but I'd hustle and work hard.
You guys are West Coasters, right? And
we were kind of all over, you know. Yeah, we were West Coast, but we got to Texas, you know, like Texans would say, as soon as we could.
Yeah.
But so I was born outside of Seattle, Olympia Memorial Hospital. Then we moved to Sault Ste. Marie, Michigan, so Yooper, you know, basically Canada.
Oh, yeah.
Then over to the Bay Area, and then finally across to Texas. And we've all settled here. Like, everyone's here. Nobody left.
Yeah.
I always thought I would. I thought I'd get back. When I was thinking about planting a church back in like 2002, I thought I'd be heading West Coast.
Hey, I'm Josh Allen. I'm the founder and a coach of Unstuck Coaches. You're probably watching because you may be stuck in an area in your life. Well, you're in good company, because you're going to watch me hit a lot of roadblocks, be stuck, and learn how to invite God into that situation so he can help you out. So we're going to go through a story-based teaching series of some of the biggest walls I hit, the worst roadblocks, the bar ditches, so you don't have to. I don't want you to be stuck like I did. I want you to be moving free and unstuck. I'm going to walk you through my story. I'm going to walk you where I was hitting roadblocks and got big time stuck. And we're going to give you some resources, some exercises, some questions that the Lord used for me to get me through those roadblocks and moving again back to freedom. That's what we want for you. Now listen, I want to be as authentic as possible. I don't want to tell you I was doing fine and good when I was severely depressed. I want you to watch me go through these roadblocks, watch God's invitation to me in the roadblocks, and see how I move from stuck to unstuck. This is for you. You get to watch me hit these roadblocks, watch me go through them, and you get to be unstuck the same way I did. Join us for this unstuck journey, and we're going to be glad to see you there. So you navigated by performance, controlling your environment. 9, what were the middle schools, high school years like? Did y'all?
Well, they were wild.
Were you going to church?
That's the hard question. Mom was kind of militant adamant that she'd drag us to church, but not like force us to go to everything every time the doors are open. But she's going to drag us. But dad's not going.
Yeah. And
then there would be seasons in which nobody was going. And then, all of a sudden we're going back, and I've still never, I don't know that again, the complexity of their lives. I have so much respect for my parents. They're human beings. They're both from these really difficult backgrounds. They were trying to find their way. So I don't have any resentment towards my folks. I have a lot of respect for them. And yeah, it was a strange upbringing in those ways, where dad's volatile, mom's surviving. That's my read now as a 51-year-old. Mom's trying to figure out how to survive. She's got 3 kids. One of them's me. You know, it's true.
Yeah.
One of them's me.
Yeah.
And I got a lot of energy,
Yeah.
and I've got a fast mouth and a quick twitch brain. And, I was just trying to figure out the way.
So you're in high school, some wild times.
Yeah.
When in the world did you encounter the Lord for the first time? Like, where did he come into the picture?
So, you get to Texas. I mean, Texas is a football state, man. It's a football state.
People
bro.
who are
largest religion in the state here. Biggest churches, biggest. I mean, it's hard for people, like when I'm traveling and stuff, it's hard for me to like help them understand. No, this is an $85 million high school stadium.
It's amazing.
Like, if they get a full ride to SMU, they're playing in a smaller stadium.
Yeah.
It's just hard for people to compute how big this sport is here.
Oh.
And so join the team. And
So what's your age now? Like,
so sophomore.
Okay.
So I'm in high school. Man, I'm lost, man. I mean, lost. I get a lot of shame from things I did in that little season. I was just idiot kid, man.
Yeah.
And this guy named Jeff Faircloth, still know him. I think he's still a coach at Second Baptist Houston, on their football team. He walks up to me in the football locker room, not anxious, not nervous, not embarrassed, didn't whisper it. It was just like, hey man, I need to tell you about Jesus. When do you want to do that? And I was embarrassed that he was asking me.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm kind of looking around to see, wait, who? But there was something about 2 things. Some people aren't going to like this, and I'm okay with it. One, the courage he had in that moment was something I immediately went, I don't have that and I want it. 2, if he wasn't the best player on our team, I probably would have never listened to him. Like, he ended up playing football at Texas A&M. He was so much better than anyone else on that team. And I just know if Jeff was the 3rd string tight end, then I'm probably making fun of him at that moment. But because it's Jeff frickin' Faircloth who said that to me, one, I immediately was like, I don't have that courage. I'd like to have that courage. I'd like to be the kind of man who doesn't care what anybody thinks, because I was the kind of man at that time that would say I don't care what everybody thinks because I cared what everybody thought. But it was clear Jeff didn't, not like me. So he had some strength, internal strength I wanted. And so Jeff and I started hanging out.
God, you wonder, man, I was wondering like what was going on. What was the Lord doing on him? Like, and highlighting you. Like,
well, Jeff and I have talked. He's got his own story, bro. I mean, he's being raised by his grandparents. He was an odd kid. Yeah. I mean, thank God he was such an exceptional athlete. Dude loved him some quartet music. Like, I'm listening to Metallica Black album before a game. That dude's got the Gaithers turned up to 8. Oh my God. Getting high to some quartet music, bro.
You probably didn't know that at the time. Like,
what? What? He's like, listen to the bass on this.
Yeah.
That meant something very different to me than it meant to Jeff Faircloth. Okay. Listen to the bass on this. Was this guy in the background like, mow.
Man, they're different, bro. There's going to be a lot of people in heaven. Does that move?
Amen.
But what did the Lord do to you in that moment? Like, what did that set off in you to start the drawing? Or winning?
I don't know that I'll ever quite understand that. That's what, theologians call the effectual call of God in Christ. Like, I would go with Jeff to jam Jesus and me. I would go, this is 90s, bro. Friggin' 90s. Everything was an acronym.
Playing CD.
Jam, like, Wednesday night, Jesus and me. And I experienced it as so kind of kitschy, Saturday Night Live-y, that I would, like, I'd kind of mock it a little bit. And this is what, man, I'm a happy Reformed guy. then I'd mock it. I would think it was dumb while I was there. It'd feel kitschy. That's the only word I know that perfectly fits it. But then I'd want to come back.
Yeah.
Like, it was just easy to mock the whole thing. And then as Jeff was dropping me off in the house, they were like, can I go with you again next week? Can you pick me up again next week?
Yeah.
So it was this weird thing happening to me where I don't know that I was resonating with the games and the music and maybe even the teaching. But here's Jeff talking to me about Jesus, reading the Bible with me, inviting me to go with him. And so I was just going with him. I was confused all the time, would mock it all the time, but I kept wanting to come back. And so now one of the ways I've learned to kind of grow in confidence in my own evangelism is where I see that taking place, where I see someone being drawn even as they disagree, see them being drawn even as they don't like, see them being drawn even if all they're doing is complaining to me about this or that. I'm like, this is, I think, the effectual call of God.
Yeah, just wait.
Yeah.
And it takes the pressure off too, really. I mean,
Totally.
So what point did you, say yes to following Jesus?
Jeff graduated and went off to play college ball. And I kind of, fell back into old patterns. And my mom and dad made me work in the summer. And so my mom got me a job where she worked, which was Texas City Fabricating. It was a fabricating shop next to a refinery in Texas City.
Baytown.
And South
Bay Area.
Yeah.
Bay Area.
And except I wish the Bay Area, this was like 110% humidity and 98 degrees outside.
Not that
Bay
Area.
Texas.
Yeah, the Texas coast.
Yeah, the Gulf Coast.
Sorry,
Gulf
Texas,
Bay. Yeah, the Bay. Yeah.
Not the real Bay Area.
Gulf of America now.
Yeah, of course.
And so, man, my job was to clean the shop and then to like cut rebar. Then I had an industrial sander that I was on all day. They would fabricate things. I'd clean them up and then clean up the shop. And that was day after day that summer. And Jerry Hendricks, who's the student pastor at First Baptist Church of Texas City, Texas, reached out to let me know that there was like space open at youth camp. And I knew that the only thing my mama was going to let me skip work to do would be something church related. So, man, I just go to mom like, hey, I really want to go to youth camp. Here's what I knew about youth camp: girls and sports.
Yeah.
Girls and sports.
Yeah. And not working there.
That's right. I'm not sweeping a shop, sweating to death. And so, man, went to camp with First Baptist Tech City. And it was, just kind of the same old story, man. Thursday night, I still remember the guy was preaching out of Hebrews 12, whom for the joy set before him endured the cross, scorning his shame.
Wow.
Seated at the right hand of the Father. Like it was that night. Like I remember being really angry by what he was saying, mainly because I didn't like where my life was, which is weird to think of a, 17-year-old kid being at the end of like, is this it? What? I don't like who I am. I don't like what this is, but I don't know any different. And
sounds like you're pretty aware, internal.
Yeah.
Even early.
I don't know. I'm just trying to think, is this how I see it now? Is that how I was experiencing it then? I wish I journaled back then. Yeah. If I run into that now and, like with the cancer stuff in 2009, I just go read my journal. I'm like, this is how I was thinking. But I just remember I was frustrated at what he said. I think a core lie I picked up on as a kid in my kind of origin story was that I am useful, but not necessarily lovable.
Wow, yeah.
Like if I can produce, if I can stay out of the way, then I have some value, but I'm not necessarily lovable. And so his message that night was, what was the joy set before Christ that day? So he goes back and he kind of shows how Jesus saw the future and knew the future. Not everything perfectly like the Father, but he could see it all. And then his big crescendo was, we were the joy set before him that day.
Yeah.
You were the joy. He had this graphic cross talk about how his body was being, and you were the joy set before him. Why don't you receive that? And I just remember being, if God loved me, why did my life look the way it looked? Why did I, all the conflict that was internal in me, I was pissed that he loved me.
Yeah.
And so I just walked out, and it was at the University of Mary Hardin Baylor in Belton, Texas. And they had this giant, I think it was an oak tree, and they had these yellow swings under them. And I sat in one of those swings, and just me and the Lord had our first wrestle.
Oh my.
And he is, 100 to nothing in wins all that right now. 33 years later, he has just consistently put the beating on me. And I lost that night, and I won everything.
Wow.
I mean, after just thrashing out and saying crazy crap, I don't know if anybody's ever done that with the Lord, where you're just saying nonsense, bro. I mean, you're just like you lost your mind.
So what, were you 17 then? Like, was that your sophomore
3 days
year?
before my 18th birthday.
Okay.
3 days before my 18th birthday. And the Lord just rocked me. And I'm telling you, man, I mean, I still haven't fully recovered from that night.
Wow.
Like it had never kind of got off of me. And I'm not saying I haven't had difficult years or seasons or dry spells, but there's not this is the life I want.
Yeah, that's the first love stuff, right? Like, I'm just thinking, you never got over the first love too.
No, I just couldn't, because I hadn't experienced love like that.
Yeah.
Like that whole concept of grace and like mercy's new every morning.
Mm-hmm.
And it's stuff I will say it. If you get tired of me saying it at the Village, you can find a new church, because I'm going to say it. Like, Jesus knew what he was buying on the cross.
Love that, man.
Like, I'm saying that to me still. It's still making me go, that's right. Yeah. His brow is not furrowed towards me.
Oh, man.
He's not thinking about where I am right now at 51 and going, dang, I thought he'd be further. I am.
Yeah.
I'm looking at me going, man, I'm 33 years in the game. Yeah. Is this compulsion really still here?
Yeah.
But Jesus isn't looking at me that way. Jesus isn't going, still.
Yeah.
That's not how this works. And I just don't know that I'll ever get over that. That's just, nobody can love me like he can.
Man, what happened in senior year?
Man, I went back. People thought I joined a cult, bro. I was wearing an I Heart Jesus shirt, carried my Bible. I mean, people thought, what the heck happened to Chad?
Crazy.
I Heart Jesus. I wore that white t-shirt till the pits turned yellow, bro. I bet you I was wearing that shirt 3 times a week. And I was just sharing the gospel with everybody.
Just evangelizing like crazy.
I just turned it, because Jeff had discipled me.
Yeah.
Before I became a Christian. I mean, it wasn't that I got discipled
for you, right?
After.
Oh, yeah.
He discipled me for. Right? Here's how you walk up to somebody. Here's what you do. You pull them into your circle. You read the Bible with them. You invite them to church with you. And then I just did what I saw. So I to this day, I'll argue discipleship starts before you become a Christian, not after. But Christians think it starts after. Now that you're saved, let's read the Bible.
Yeah.
But I'm telling you, it starts before.
Yeah. Oh, wow. So a whole different senior experience. How in the world does the Lord take you from that? I mean, one of the things I want you to tell people is like, what does your story at this point say about Jesus?
Yeah.
From there, and then move to the next step, like college and Because when I picked up on the CD time, when you were in Abilene, I was driving past.
Come on,
my brother's giving me CDs. I was like, who is this dude? But I thought you were up in Dallas too, or Metro or something.
I was. I came.
Maybe that was later, but
yeah, it was later.
How do you go from the angry? Ferret Claw gets a hold of you. Jesus gets a hold of you.
Yeah.
Senior year, you're out hurting Jesus, getting everybody to like.
Well, here's what, again, if we're talking about discipleship before, I think because I wasn't a church kid, I was asking different questions. And then I think what ended up happening is these ideas, these Bible stories were so new to me that they were hitting me differently than maybe how kids were being taught them at local churches. So to me, they weren't framed as moral fables, but really these kind of look at what God is able to do.
Oh, man.
where
big.
I'm not learning, your David and Goliath and your Noah and the ark through the lens of be a moral person. I'm learning them kind of more closely connected to the attributes of God. And that reshaped how I read the Bible. And then what I found is that because I was so curious about the Bible, that I was just devouring it. And then every weekday morning, I would record 30 minutes from Chuck Swindoll, 30 minutes from Dr. Tony Evans, 105.7 in the Houston area.
Yes.
And then, man, I just devour those tapes. Just listen to those tapes. I just study my Bible. Just read. Just couldn't stop reading enough. And as weird as it sounded, it's funny for how we shaped things here at the church. I felt like I knew more than the church kids almost overnight. And then what ended up happening is the church kids then and the lost kids would come to me and say, "Hey, what do you do with this? Or have you seen this? Like, can you do this? Can you?" And then sometimes I would know, and then sometimes I wouldn't know, but then I'd go kind of dig around, or I'd ask my youth pastor, Jerry Hendricks, and he'd give me a book, or, and then I had Wayne Grudem's Systematic Theology.
Yeah.
Bro, it's like you open that thing, there's not a page that it's scribbled on. Yeah. I mean, I couldn't get off that book for years. And I just wanted to understand a little bit more what happened to me. And then I wanted to fuel this. I can't believe this God loves me. This God. Like this one.
That has never left you.
No.
It's so sweet.
I've been yelling similar things
100%
since I was 23, and now I'm 51.
And I don't know how the call works, the call of God. People say that a lot. I think, but was there a point where you felt like, man, I'm going to go into ministry? I just know it. Or
no, I actually had I'm not going to go into ministry. And then the Lord kind of, thought that was cute and patted me on my hand. Yeah. So I graduated the next year. I didn't really trust myself to just get up and move. And I had good community, people who loved the Lord. So I wasn't eager to.
Still in Texas City?
That's right.
Yeah.
Still wasn't eager to like jet out to A&M, or I was nervous about how that would play out.
Yeah.
And that year 2 was super disorienting because I still very much had a heart in love with Jesus, and I kept screwing up, man. I fell back into the party scene for a while, and then I was just racked with guilt, and then,
the real
run from the Lord, and then, do the same thing again 3 months later, and now I'm blowing my witness, and that stuff was, so I was like, man, I don't trust me to leave. I might spin out. And so stayed and went to a little JUCO, and I was a janitor at a Christian school in Dickinson, Texas.
Oh my gosh.
And Dr. John Murchison was the preacher pastor of that church with that big Christian school in it. And there was a day I'd gotten to know all those people. I mean, I'm total extrovert, so I'm the janitor when I was swinging by, like, "What are you reading?" Hey, And yeah. And there had been a car accident, and John had to run up to the hospital. So he just asked me to share my testimony in high school chapel.
Gosh, come on.
Great, let's do it. So that's all I did. I shared my testimony, high school chapel. Afterwards, a man named Leo Smith, probably in his early 70s, came up to me. This is one of the big problems in the church. And offered me a job as a student pastor at his tiny little church in Lamarck, Texas.
He was like...
There were 5 girls. 5 girls in this, all 5 of them pretty much living with their grandparents. So that's a backstory itself.
100%.
And I'm 3 years older than them at best.
Did you do that?
And they hired me.
Oh,
that's my first. They hired me. I took it. Bro, I was a janitor. That was a janitor, bro.
No idea.
Like, I was just like, and I don't know, even how I got that job, I think was providential, because the interview was like, "Do you know how to change a ballast?" And I was like,
What's a ballast?
I don't know, what's a ballast? What about elevators? You know how to fix elevators? I was like, No, sir, I don't have a clue how to. YouTube, but
Yeah, no.
that doesn't exist. I don't know. Is there a manual? I might figure it out. And they hired me. It was I was terrible.
Man, just that small stuff is so important. Oh my gosh.
It's huge. That's
gosh.
the stuff, man, where the Lord, you're just like, what?
No.
So then I end up at this little Baptist church in Lamarck, Texas.
Now, where is that? Is that south of Houston?
It's right next to Tech City.
Oh, okay.
Tech City, Lamarck.
Okay.
That whole area.
That's
Alvin.
unknown to me down there, but I know
it's all right on the coast.
That's Houston to me.
Yeah, that's right. Well, I usually say I'm from Houston.
Yeah.
People are like, what part? I'm like, oh, okay.
Yeah, you know.
So not Houston. Or I can say Galveston.
Yeah,
I'm like Galveston.
okay.
Most people know where Galveston is. And so I'm working at this church. I'm not a churchman. I don't understand the politics of it. I don't understand, like, it was, and I'm sure, look, I'm not throwing smoke, man. I'm sure I was such an idiot. I mean, such an idiot. But man, I found that church to be most frequently in opposition of me seeing kids come to know Christ.
Yeah.
Not that they didn't want to see that, because they would have shouted from the rooftops. They did. But they just fought me at every turn, and I was always in trouble. Always in trouble. And you don't tend to get fired at a church under 300 for anything other than some moral character flaw. And so I didn't get fired. I wasn't messing with those girls. I wasn't, nothing like that was happening. I just didn't want to go to associational camp. I wanted to go to Super Summer.
Yeah.
Associational camp was lame.
Yeah.
It was like a 70-year-old man doing a chalk talk, painting a picture of dogs, and then they turn on a black light and there's a cross behind it. And Jesus used it. I mean, people
100%.
got saved.
Yeah.
But I wanted to go to Super Summer.
Of course.
But even that idea I was met with resistance on.
It's offensive. I mean,
it was.
Yeah.
I mean, it was just like everything I wanted to do to see kids saved. I met a great deal of opposition.
Yeah.
And then, so in my head, I'm like, man, if this is church life, no, thank you. And so I hatched this plan to be a really successful lawyer with a great Sunday school class. That was my plan.
Well, I've been there. I'm a lawyer myself, so like,
I'm going to make a crap ton of money. And I'm going to have a great Sunday school class. That was my plan. Because we were poor.
Yeah.
Like cars repoed, house closed down, poor. And in my head, I'm like, that's not going to be my life. So I'm going to go to law school.
Wow.
I'm going to become a lawyer. And I'm going to have a great, because I love teaching. Love teaching the Bible. But I don't know how to do this.
Yeah.
I'm going to get fired everywhere.
Yeah.
And it was just the stream I was in where like lead pastors looked weird in jeans.
Yeah.
You saw your pastor in jeans growing up. You were just like,
yeah,
that's not right.
100%.
That doesn't look right. Huh. And I knew I wasn't going to be a youth guy the rest of my life. And I knew, what else was there? The education minister, which was basically an administrator.
Yeah.
I got none of those skills. Or the music guy. That ain't, nobody's hiring me to do that.
Yeah.
And so, it's kind of the story.
Did you apply to law school? I mean, did you
travel? Well, I was going to go to A&M. I had great friends there. I was going to do business there and then go to law from there. Mm-hmm. At the time, A&M didn't have their own law school. Mm-hmm. Now they did. Now they do. But then that's a whole nother story. Like everything I love about my life right now hinges on this moment where I had let the church know I was resigning. I had let some friends that were already at A&M who loved the Lord, who were following hard after Jesus. They were all involved with Breakaway. They were all they all loved the Lord. I was going to room with those guys. Viking Apartments in Bryan, all bills paid joint. So it was
always, yeah.
And I'm sure it's not standing. And I was going to go to A&M. Let's get a business degree and then let's go to law school. And I buy Chuck Swindoll's book, Flying Closer to the Flame, which is his book on the Holy Spirit, which the irony of how God uses that to turn the whole trajectory of my life. And now I am a total continuationist. So I would disagree with so much of what was in that book, but God used that book to get me to everything I love right now as a 51-year-old man. So I'm reading that book and
Was
just
it on cassette tape, by the way? Like,
no. I was reading it, like straight up went to
Did you have any of those? Oh,
Baptist. I had a ton of those.
Yeah.
Baptist bookstore. They didn't
Okay.
call it Lifeway yet.
Yeah.
Baptist bookstore. There in town, and I'm reading it, and I don't know how to explain it other than I just knew the Lord was like, "Hey, we're not heading A&M." Well, what do you mean we're not heading A&M? Yeah, we're not. So then I do what I always do, still can do if you catch me on the wrong day, where I'm just like, hold on. Like, let me explain to you why this is such a good idea. These guys love the Lord. I already have ministry opportunity. I already have, everything for me to flourish in my mind's eye was there.
We remind God a lot. Like,
oh man, these guys are farther along than me.
100%.
They're gifts from you already in my life.
So time out right there. What did your parents and your family look like at that point? Especially seeing Matt.
Yeah, all the
year.
The only real difference at that point was my little sister, who had then a pretty powerful encounter with the Lord and was starting to try to follow after him.
Was your pops kind of aggressive with you being super evangelistic at the time?
No, I don't remember. I remember Dad early on being a bit of a, I'll watch my mouth here, like just a bit of a punk.
Yeah.
You love the Lord. Like,
okay.
You know what? Yeah. I thought I asked you to take that trash out. You love Jesus. You don't love take the trash. It's just crap like that all the time. Where I was like, sheesh, man. But Dad was, again, I know I'm trying to honor him and still tell the story. Like, Dad could be so fun and so kind, and then he would just explode. But it wasn't tied to, like, you might be, and I think this was the terror of it, like, you might be in the middle of a game, and then all of a sudden, he ain't playing anymore.
Yeah.
But you don't know what switched.
Yeah.
And now it's violent.
Yeah.
And not the kind of violent, my dad's a hoss, man. He was a big old man.
Yeah.
It wasn't anything like anybody in this room would want to smoke with.
Yeah.
Now he's, 80 with COPD, but back then he was a huge man.
Okay. Cool. I just was wondering if they, that's awesome.
So no. Okay. Now, by the grace of God, profound transformation in my family in the years to come.
That's awesome.
Like, Daddy deeply loves Jesus right now. I can't tell you the last time I talked with him where he wasn't tearfully talking to me about what he read in the Bible or what God's been showing him, or,
super encouraging to
profound transformation in my dad and my mom. I don't think my mom knew what was available. I think she knew how to behave correctly. I think she probably was operating how I had learned to operate until the Spirit really healed some parts of my soul, where let me produce, in her mind, I think it's let me work hard, let me get things done, let me bury my head and keep my head down and just survive. Because she had learned she wasn't lovable from her family of origin. And so she's stuck, he's stuck, creating me being stuck. And this is that generational change that can occur when somebody finally fully surrenders to Christ and then is serious about keeping at it. Like, what is that? What's my motive with that? I don't like that. What is that? I want to give that to Jesus.
That's a cool phrase you said, know what's available.
Yeah. Well, I just don't think, do you know how many people even here at the Village who, I've got a guy that was in my Thursday night discipleship group who's been in church his whole life.
Yeah. And
night one, around my fire pit, he said, yeah, man, I don't know where I land on all this anymore.
Yeah.
I think I'm about to just quit. Not quit coming to church, but just quit and believing it. Like, it's just not, like, he had never had a personal encounter with the Lord.
Yeah.
He had just been trying to be his version of good. And at the church he was at before that, like, they were super involved, but no real relationship with Jesus.
Oh, man. Golly.
Like, this is true story. I got a text from him this week. Oh my gosh. I don't think he'd watch it. Even if he did, and he was just like, hey, brothers, it was a group text. Brothers, I want you to know, I read through Romans, and then I was reading the Gospels. And as I was reading the Gospels, I was like, this sounds familiar. So I asked ChatGPT, and just so you guys know, Like the four gospels are the same story told from four different perspectives. This is a guy that's been in church since the day he was born.
Yeah.
And then he's like gobsmacked
What?
At-
The Lord uses ChatGPT to.
wait, I already read this.
Yeah.
No, what is this? It has to ask ChatGPT, who he calls a her. And yeah, and she had to tell him. But that's what I mean. Like, he didn't even know what was available to him. He was trying to be his version of good and come to church on the weekends.
Well, it's hard to surrender. I mean, this is the wrestle, right? Like we're learning because, I mean, I'm not too far younger than you. It's hard to surrender to somebody you think's a little bit pissed at you.
Yeah.
As
If
a
they're
God-
brow, yeah, I'm not. Yeah.
I mean, you grow up performance-based. I mean, so that's a sweet thing.
Yeah.
Where'd you go from? You got
So,
redirected.
Ended up at Hardin-Simmons University.
Okay.
And went there, was kind of trying to go the same route, either business or political science. And then a guy named Steve Harden, crazy man named Steve Harden, was doing like a ecumenical Bible study there called Grace Bible Study.
Okay.
He's running 200 or 300 kids. He had felt the Holy Spirit lead him out there. So that's what he was doing. He'd started a nonprofit and he was doing Grace Bible Study. I had met him the summer before I got out there when I brought the kids in my youth group to this camp that he was teaching at. So Steve and I meet there. He's like, "Oh man, you coming to Abilene? Man, man, I'm gonna snatch you up when you get out there." And he did snatch me up. And so the two things that happened in Abilene probably more quickly for me, not that they should have, but that it wouldn't have happened this way. So the student pastor that was at the church that I'd become a Christian at was now in Abilene at Pioneer Drive Baptist Church. He knew me, knew my story, knew that I had something on me in teaching. So I mean, as soon as I'd been there my freshman year basically for a few months. He was like, "Hey, would you want to teach one of these college classes for me?" Absolutely. So I started teaching through 1 John for the college students at Pioneer Drive Baptist Church. And then Steve Harden would be like, "Hey, I'm out of town next weekend. Would you be willing to preach Grace Bible Study for me?" Sure. So I'd teach Grace Bible Study.
Now, was this CD from Grace?
Yes.
Okay. Oh my God.
And then the other thing that's happening at the same time is ACU is decided they want to grow into a tier 1 university. So they start recruiting kids that aren't necessarily Church of Christ kids to increase numbers. They want to be a deal. And then, so that blows us up. So then Grace goes from like 300 to over 1,000. And I'm teaching. Everybody's like, "Oh, it's Matt's teaching." But it really been some other kind of decisions that had been made that brought all these Christian kids. They weren't necessarily Church of Christ. They weren't necessarily Baptist. They weren't necessarily Methodist over at McMurray. But then I had 1,000 kids gathered. And so I'm working my plan, bro. I'm going to go law school, and then I'm going to be in some city, some First Baptist church in a city, teaching a killer Sunday school,
big Sunday school.
making millions.
Yeah.
You can't handle the truth.
Yeah.
I'd see a few good men. I was ready, bro. That's what I wanted. I didn't know there's very small portion of what you're doing. You're just actually by yourself studying a lot.
Yeah.
And so it's like 2 a.m. I'm at IHOP with a group of friends, and there's a young woman there, college girl, and she was like, "So when did you feel called? When did you get called into ministry?" I was like,
You're like, what?
I'm not.
Yeah.
She was like, "No, I think you probably are." And I was like, "Christy, look, I'm not." And I told her the whole story back in Lamarck and what had happened. And she just listened, smiled, and she was like, "No, I hear that. I'm sure it sounds awful, but I think you probably are called to ministry, vocational ministry." And then it just haunted me, man. Like, I went home, I couldn't hardly sleep that night.
Man, I'd much rather happen that way though than like somebody coming in and saying like, "Hey, I'm called to this." Like, wait, what?
Yeah.
Somebody else like calls out of you like.
I was not interested.
So you're just fighting it.
Yeah, and then I just wrestled with the Lord. I mean, per my MO, still can do it like an idiot. But
have another oak tree swing spot.
Like, what are we doing here? Just say yes. You know how it ends. But man, was like, I didn't want to be poor.
Yeah.
I didn't. I'd been poor.
Yeah.
I don't want to be poor. I don't want to look weird in jeans.
Yeah.
I don't know how I fit in this world. I don't want, all I had was I don't fit in that world. I'm trying to convince God, let me do itinerant ministry.
Yeah.
Let me just travel and preach, man. Let me be a lawyer that does some ministry stuff. I mean, I was just not wanting to say yes. And then finally, like I said, my MO, I just ran out of gas on it. I mean, and just said, yeah, just kind of collapse. Okay. So went and changed my major.
He tapped you out. You're a jiu-jitsu guy, right? He
And
tapped you
pretty
out.
much he got me. And I didn't even see it. Like a lot of times I could feel it. Wait, I think he's going for that. Is he going for an Americano right now? What's he going? Oh, no. So, yeah, he got me. And then that started. And then I changed my major, and rest is history.
Okay, so from here, and I want to be, I want to keep our time aware. You got called into consider a position at Highland Baptist Church.
Highland Village First Baptist Church.
Highland Village First Baptist Church, 160 people.
Yep. 168, my first Sunday.
Oh
I've got a picture of me holding a sign with a number on it. Yeah.
You can't shake the people away from you, man.
Yeah.
So how in the world? So, I mean, did you go to Dallas first? And then
Yeah. So what happened at Grace is all those college kids would buy my tapes, sermon tapes. And if you don't know what a tape is, you can Google it and you find out it's similar to what you're watching. And they would buy those audio tapes and they would give them to their student pastors. And then their student pastors would call and see if I wanted to do youth camps or disciple nows or fall retreats or winter retreats. And so I had started traveling around, and in my travels had come across Shane and Shane.
Oh, yeah.
Originally it was Shane and Caleb.
Really? Which Shane was not
Shane Everett was not part of it.
I got you.
It was Shane and Caleb. In fact, the very first album is Shane and Caleb, not Shane and Shane.
Just doesn't have the same ring.
And then, no, it doesn't. But it did back then. Everybody knew it as Shane and Caleb. And then all of a sudden it was Shane and Shane. And then the Shanes and I ended up being at like 6 or 7 things a year together.
Now, is that when you guys formed the waiting room ministry?
That's right. So that's what gets me to Dallas.
Okay.
Is Everett and B are coming through Abilene, and we go eat at Jason's Deli. And E, who's the business guy, is like, why don't we just all move to Dallas and make this thing a package deal? And if they want us, they get you. And if they want you, they get us. And then we could just set up a nonprofit and blow it out. Lauren and I prayed and tried to discern, and we were in a great church there. We had great friends. We knew we weren't living our lives in Abilene, but I love Abilene. To this day, I love Abilene.
Yeah.
Had I stayed there, I'd have been fine.
Yeah.
But great people out there.
Yeah. I'm a Red Raider, so I loved it too. People are like, why would you like this? Like, I don't know. There's something about it.
There is, man. There's something about that sunset. There's something about, I mean, listen, I'm not gonna let anybody hate on it, but we discerned we're supposed to go. Mm-hmm. So we moved out. We all lived in the same apartment complex first, and then we all built houses on the same street.
What a fun time.
It was wild.
Yeah.
I mean, we never went to bed before like 3 a.m, never got up before lunch,
And traveling.
Yeah. Traveling. We bought a van, with a Sony PlayStation in it.
So you're a hot set.
No, if you could see a picture of the Green Peak.
No, do you remember you had those TVs and wire them into the...
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
It was that. It was just up, and then we would play. And and that's what brought me to Dallas. And then I was doing Houston Metro.
Maybe that's where I'm thinking Metro.
9/11. Well, no, I got to Dallas, and then 9/11 happened. Before 9/11, I could fly home on Monday night after Houston Metro.
Oh, wow.
So I would preach. I'd catch like a 10:30 flight home. So I'm back in my bed with my wife, who had just found out she was pregnant with our first. And then I don't want to be out another night of the week.
Yeah.
We were living in hotel rooms. Lauren used to call her mom and be like, it's like we're always on vacation. I'm like, oh, I'm glad somebody feels that way. I don't feel like I'm on vacation. And I felt more on vacation when we got back to the apartment, and we could just chill, go work out. And, but in that waiting room process, my potluck roommate at Hardin Simmons was a guy named Rich Cottle, who's now married to my little sister. Mm-hmm. His mom, bedrock member of Highland Village First Baptist Church.
The Lord is so
loved
stinking
me.
cool, man.
Well, here's some of the trippy stuff. So in college, when we would come into Dallas to play around, because playing hide and go seek at the Super Walmart in Abilene had run out of gas, we would come here. We would come to this area, Highland Village, where Rich lived. We'd stay at his house. We would come to Highland Village First Baptist Church on Sunday morning as a college kid.
Good gracious.
A decade before I become a pastor here, or
man.
5-6 years before I become the pastor here. And then Elaine loves what God's doing through me. And so she becomes like this major giver to our nonprofit. And the story of how I got here was the pastor before me had just, good man, young, in his 30s, had some mental health things happen. And this church didn't fire him. They stuck with him. And they stuck with him until he resigned. But the church, Willow Creek Association, kind of seeker-friendly, had grown up to about 500, and then he had gotten, his brain broke, and they had just started shrinking.
Yeah.
And so they started looking for someone to come take this, and they had blown through everybody who had, they were honestly looking for a unicorn anyway. And they certainly weren't looking for me.
They're like,
they were not
man,
looking for me.
There's one guy left on this.
Well, I would never turn in my resume for this. I oftentimes told my little sister who'd marry rich, they were coming here like, why are you in that church?
Yeah.
Why aren't you? Because I had been twice and it was so seeker friendly. I'm like, we didn't even mention Jesus.
Yeah.
Nobody had us. We didn't talk about the Bible. We jumped off from a Martin Luther King Jr. quote.
Yeah.
What is this?
Yeah.
Well, on Wednesday nights, I'm like, well, what? I never could understand it. Nope, we don't even go that. But Elaine and the search team had gone down to Houston to hear this kid that they thought might be the guy. He was pastoring at a smaller church in Houston. They went to go, and they just collectively were like, that's not him. They were driving back in Elaine's Yukon XL. And I landed from this trip with the Shanes, from this missions thing we did at Auburn University. And I call Elaine Sunday afternoon. I call her because when you're running a nonprofit and somebody's throwing out $6 a year plus at you, you call to say hi.
Oh, for sure.
And so I was going to call and tell her how Auburn went and check in with her.
Yeah.
And she answered the phone, bro, and said, "Hey, Matt Chandler." She'd known me since she met me like day one moving into college when her son already had set up his side of the room. And what happened was on the way, they all agree he's not our guy. And a guy named John Lowe, still here with his wife, Pam, see him every Saturday night at 4, says, what about the kid doing Metro? Well, that's me. But Elaine knows, I don't like this church. I don't like it theologically. I don't like it philosophically. So Elaine's like, well, I'm not sure, he's doing this thing over in Dallas, Metro Dallas now that was running about 3,000 kids.
Oh, it's huge.
I can't call them kids now. It's their age. And I think if I'm not at Dallas Metro, I don't ever get this job.
Wow.
Because they're so disoriented by what I'm saying. All that to say is Elaine asked me to turn in a resume. But after that call, she followed up with, she's like, look, I don't think you're for us or we're for you, but I think you might be able to help us by asking clarifying questions and getting us to what we're actually really after. So I don't think this is going to be you. I don't think you want it to be you, but I do think you can help us. That's how she framed it. So, bro, I opened up my computer. I started writing. I'd never done a resume. Like, remember that paper clip? Clippy pops up. He's like, looks like you're trying to write it's that AI before AI. It was Clippy popped up. I was like, say, man, you look like you're trying to write a resume. Would you like some help with that? Yes, Clippy. Clippy helped me write my resume, and I turned it in. And then back and forth.
God.
And I ended up
3,000. We were talking
wanting
about
the job.
Okay.
And getting it.
Okay.
And that's what kick-started fast growth here is I had these 3,000 kids in town, most of whom did not have a church home. They were using Monday night for a church home. The search team would come and watch Bleecker lead worship for 45 minutes, me preaching on 2 sentences from Romans 8 for 50. And it was so disorienting, but they couldn't. They'd look around. There are all these kids in there. I mean, everybody here was in their 50s. They would look around, see all those kids, and they wanted it. And I was super honest, and I was like, I don't understand your system of government. Like, if you're going egalitarian, I'm not your guy. I won't do it. So I don't want to quit on you 6 months from now. So you needed to figure out, is this where you're going? And I mean, I was just super honest. Like, literally before they voted, the first question I got, Ron Pecunia, still here, said, everybody buys a house knowing the first thing they're going to change as soon as they move in. What's that thing here?
Oh, that's brilliant.
And I was like,
good question, man.
Not getting the job now.
Yeah, good.
And I just said, I think your system of government's a disaster. I don't know how there's any real accountability here, or how anybody could feel theologically safe, or, and then I don't understand worship. Like, you've got, you have a worship team, like you run 5,000 and you're running 46 people a service in a room that seats 440. So I'm just confused about some of those things. I think doctrinally you're all over the map. You don't fit any grid or system, and that's not a compliment. I'm not saying you're theological mutts because you guys have found the truth in the way. I'm saying you're a disaster because you've been borrowing from different churches and haven't done the theological work yourself. And no one batted an eye.
Wow.
And that's when I told Lauren that night, I was like, shoot, we're getting this job.
Yeah.
If that didn't kill it, nothing's going to kill it. So that's how I got here. And I thought I'd be here 3 years. I literally thought, okay, the Lord wants to show me some things so that when I go back to the West Coast, I go plant a church, I'll have these lessons with me. And that was 23 years ago.
Man, it's such a sweet, there's so much more I want to dive so much more into it. What a perfect place to land. I do have one more question, but what do y'all look like now? So I know you spend off 4 campuses.
Yep.
So what's a normal Sunday, people around? What's happening? Just give us that. Yeah. And I want to ask you one more question.
Man, I love this. Like I said, these are my people.
You've been here how long now? Like
23 years.
Sweet.
I am now seeing quite a few of those 20-year-old kids that got saved in 03, 04, 05 that were so wild and so licentious, who got saved, who found their spouse here, who had their kids here, who are now starting to baptize their kids.
Yeah, that's so sweet.
And that's so fun.
That's so sweet.
That's so fun.
Yeah.
And so normal Sunday, man, you'll catch me in the foyer or in the sanctuary before services start, and then we get after the Lord like we have since I got here, man. I'm still.
Now you're not running 5 services still, or
no? We're doing 3.
Okay.
We do 1 on Saturday night, 2 on Sunday morning. We've got a much bigger building than we historically have had, and you can see
you keep you're adding on, but you keep trying to. I mean, that was a cool move y'all made. I mean, just getting
we plant
autonomous churches.
We have planted over 100 churches in the last 20 years.
Sweet.
And some of them not far from where we're sitting right now. Some 10 minutes away.
That's hard to do. I mean, yeah.
But I think if you have the right guy who's got the right mission and vision, it works.
Well, and your governance, the way y'all set it up is just sweet.
Yeah.
Tell me for a second, and I want to ask you a final question, but tell me a second about your book, The Awaken Alive.
Yeah, Awaken Alive really was born of, I think we're in this moment. I think people who are paying attention feel we're in this moment where if you would have told me in 2020 that church attendance would be rising like it is, that Bible sales would be rising, that Gen Z would be flooding back in the church like they are, that like nobody would have believed that would have happened, but it's happening. And so I think we're at the beginning of this moment. Like we can call it revival, renewal. We can, I don't care what word we use. God's doing something unique, and it feels like the wind's at our back. And what I don't want is people in churches to watch it on YouTube.
For sure.
I want them to be in the middle of it. So however they can avail their hearts to the Lord to adjust their sails to be used by God in this moment, I want to try to encourage them to do that.
Yes.
And so Awaken Alive is a 30-day devotional that's just trying to kick you in your pants a little bit. I'm just trying to get you to wake up. I'm trying to channel the Apostle Paul, who's like, awake, you sleeper. And he's not, if you know your Greek, do your Greek work. That's not like your mama woke you up.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? That's not like turn on the light,
Yeah.
and, honey. That's like how your dad woke you up. You know, boom, the door's open, the lights on, your sheets off, like, get up. It's like the house is on fire, wake up. Like Paul is worried that they're drifting. He's trying to get them to wake the heck up. And that's what I'm trying to do in Awaken Alive. It's just 30 days. Come on, man. Lean back into this. What a time to be alive.
Yeah. Okay, final question.
We got
This is more than just praying about it too. And I just sent, I want to hear what it looks like. Tell people what it looks like to abide in Jesus.
Oh, man.
And that was just this morning. It was just
Come on.
like,
I love that question.
What it looks like to abide in Jesus.
Yeah, I think the way I've historically answered that's probably the way I'm going to answer it today, because I don't know who all's listening. I think the essence of the best way I know to get you there. So if you're listening and you're like, I want to abide in Jesus, how do I get there? The first thing I always, when I'm making disciples, if you will, I'm telling you, I think you need to have an active list of what stirs your affections for Jesus and what robs you of your affections for Jesus. Stop thinking through the grid of right and wrong, or what you have freedom or don't have freedom to do. I just don't think that's going to get you there. But if I ask the question, what, when I'm doing it, when I give myself over to it, when I create space for it, stirs my affections for Jesus? And what, if I let it near me, if I give too much energy to it, if I give too much attention to it, robs me of that affection? And then you will fill your life with what stirs your affections, and you will put to death what robs you of affections. You're on your way.
Yeah.
And then I'm a big rule of life guy. Like my life has a rhythm that's been structured for abiding. And that means in my life there are inefficient efficiencies.
Yeah. On purpose.
On purpose.
Yeah, 100%.
This can't be rushed.
Yeah.
And that means there are times I miss significant meetings here, because what is my best and most for this organization requires me to steep in the presence of Jesus, not to have 15 minutes here, 20 minutes here, an hour here, 30 minutes here, 7 minutes here. It's long, extended, quiet, me and the Lord. And so that's woven into my life. I mean, I've got weekly rhythm, monthly rhythm, quarterly rhythm, annual rhythm.
Yeah, that's on my list. I wanted to talk to you.
I just got back.
Yeah.
Last week, I was out at the river cabin all by myself, Monday through Thursday. Yeah. Just me and Jesus.
Wonderful.
Just me and Jesus and a few cigars, man. That's
100%.
it. Just I don't want to talk to anybody. I'm not out here to work. I'm not out here to produce. I'm going to love and hate being out here with the Lord.
Man, what was, I don't know if it's Willard or somebody, just about it's impossible to live a spiritual life in hurry.
Yeah, you can't.
Maybe Comer.
Well, and here's what's hard. It's probably
Comer and Willard, yeah.
Quoting Willard.
Yeah, 100%.
I don't realize how fast I'm moving until I get out there
and
then come back.
Yeah.
Like it's so quick. Like I am feeling uniquely the pace of my life today, this Wednesday that you and I are sitting here, because I was gone at that all weekend, got back in town, preached our 20-year celebration of church planting, all day exec site, offsite on Monday, all day exec offsite on Tuesday, which jammed up today, not with cascading meetings, because that's one of my rules. Don't cascade me.
Okay.
I need time to process between.
Yes.
Which is why when we started, I was like, I need to get home and see my wife before I go to this elder meeting. I need some kind of, let's stop, let's reorient. So maximize those transitions. Seek time to be alone with the Lord. And then here's what I just want to fill my life with stuff that makes me think about, marvel, love, and enjoy Jesus.
100%.
And then the stuff that takes that from me, I just want it gone. And a lot of it's morally neutral, bro. That's what's crazy. That's why the paradigm most Christians are walking in is good or bad. And I'm thinking through the lens of affection.
Yeah.
Does this give me affection or rob affection from me? And that to me is the gateway to abiding.
Man, thank you.
No, thank you, bro. This has been great.
Can you pray us out?
Man, I'd love to.
Thanks, Matt.
Yeah. Father, we thank you for your grace and mercy. I thank you that man, if there's a Christian listening to this, watching this right now, that you are what we hold most in common. We don't have to be from the same generation. We don't have to see this the same way or this the same way. What we hold most in common is that you have transferred us out of the domain of darkness and into the kingdom of your beloved Son. That you have lifted us out of the muck and the mire, that you have set our feet upon a rock. You have put a song of praise in our mouth, that we were dead and now we're alive again. And so we praise you and thank you. And I don't know, man, if whoever's listening to this is on a treadmill or in their car or on a walk or woke up in the middle of the night and couldn't get back to sleep, and so just threw their headphones on, or, man, if they just saw this off to the sidebar in their YouTube algorithm and clicked on it. But I pray, Holy Spirit, you minister to this man or woman right now in the deeper places of their heart. Ask not that you would just take away the fruit of brokenness, but that you would pull it up from the root in their lives. And so that's not hard for you, and wouldn't diminish you. You wouldn't be tired afterwards for having done that. And so I just ask that you would, for the glory and fame of Jesus Christ, let your healing grace be present in the men and women that are listening to this now. Thank you for just an hour or so to just talk about you and how good you are and how kind you are. And that this falls in this week, not far from Thanksgiving, is special to me. And so thank you. Love you so much. I want you to be seen and marveled at and worshiped and delighted in. You are worthy of it all. And it's for your beautiful name I pray. Amen.
Amen. Bless you, Matt.
All right. Bless you guys. Thank you.